Alright YouTube, today I am redoing the BMW's door panels. The interior on this car is in really good shape. The seats and everything are good, dash good, you know, everything's pretty nice. But then the door panels, the leather is starting to shrink on them and stuff, and it just looks rough. Same thing in the rear, they're just all beat up. The driver's side's the worst. This hurts my elbow, and this is just, as you can see, it's done. So I'll be fixing that today. And then driver's side rear, same thing, shrinking. I got some good used door panels for the front and rear. And as you can see, the leather's all in good shape. These pads are in good shape. So I'm gonna transfer over my armrests so I can keep the silver, not use the wood. But these are in way better shape. It's gonna make it look a lot better. Normally I would just leave it how it is and not really care about it, but this car is just in such good shape, exterior wise and the interior besides the door panels. So I just feel like it needs to be done. All right, so I got the driver's side rear out. Here's the one I'm gonna be replacing it with, but it is not too bad. I'm sorry I didn't record it, but there's so much background noise and my dad's vacuuming and stuff, so. But there's two Torques, one right here, one right here. You pull those out and you have to pull the bottom trim part off. All these stayed in there, so I gotta get those out and put them back in the trim to put it back. But on the inside, you just have to kind of pull this thing out of the way. You gotta take this top part off, which that thing just pushes in, and then you can pull this top part off. But that just pulls out of the way and then it just pops out. It was pretty simple. Now I'm gonna put my handle on this one and put it back in. Much better. Like brand new. All right, passenger door panel's on. It is looking a lot better. I ended up doing speakers because these are all blown out, so I'm doing all four. And I got the sunshade put on. That should keep the interior a little cooler, and it should help with the wind noise. I also need to adjust the sunroof because the back is open a little bit. So now I'm gonna do the driver's side and then the rear speakers. Here's what the old speaker was looking like. I cut the ring off so I could put the new speakers on that. I'll show you guys what I'm doing when I get to it. All right, so here's what I did for the speaker. I cut out the old ring off of the old speakers, and then I drilled 3 holes and just put the screws that came with these Sony speakers in. And then I'm just gonna wire it, clip the factory wires and just use connectors, wire it, and that'll be good enough. All right, everybody, it's a few days later, but I got this car situated. So now the door panels are beautiful rather than destroyed. It's a big difference. Here you can see the passenger side one. It looks a whole lot better. And then the rears are no longer bulging out. And then driver's side rear. Don't mind the dusty screen. But now the only real issue with the interior is just like this is all a little scratched up. Shift knob's a little old. And this is a little scratched up. And then I guess somebody did something to these pillars because they put screws through them. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm just gonna leave that. That's not really too noticeable. And then the headliner is falling a little bit in the back. I'll probably just leave that too. Everything else looks all right. The door panels were the real downfall of it, so that's why I felt it deserved them to replace them, because the rest of the car looks really nice. And I ended up doing all the bigger speakers, the tweeters in each door and in the door panels in the back. They all sounded pretty good, so I just left the tweeters. They all look good. But the big ones, I replaced all 4 because all 4 of them were broken. The rear tweeters were pretty cool because they screw on right here. You can see it's threaded. You can kind of see, yeah, it's threaded, and they just screw right on, and that's how they stay on. So that was pretty cool to see. And these door panels, they weigh a good bit because they have all that foam on them. Like, I'm used to Civic door panels and stuff that weigh like 2 pounds, but to get all 4 shipped to me, it was like 50 pounds. So they do weigh a good bit. If anybody needs the wood trim, let me know. And if anybody wants these door panels, let me know before they go in the trash. Yeah, if you're near Virginia. So that's really it for the BMW for this video. This was just a short video on just doing the interior because I wanted to make it look nicer. The next video on the BMW is going to be the CCV, and I might do the oil pan gasket at the same time. Those are really the only two mechanical issues, and the CCV might not even be a mechanical issue. I'm just doing that as a maintenance item, really. But the oil pan gasket, it just seeps. It doesn't even drip on the ground, but I just want to have it have no leaks. So, I already have the gasket and everything, I might as well do it. So those are the only other two items really, and this thing's basically 100%. I would say like 98%. So I'm really happy with the car, and I really love it. I do not want to get rid of it anytime soon. I love driving it every day. I also plan on doing a video, something along the lines of, should you buy a cheap E46? Because yeah, it did need a good bit of work. Obviously I'm doing the work on myself, and the parts weren't too expensive, and all the work it needed wasn't too hard. But I'll talk about it in the full video. But if you're gonna take it to a mechanic to do everything, I don't think you should, because it'll just get costly fast. But that's for another video. Thank you all for watching this one, and stay tuned.
Yeah, I'm on a boat in the pipe, it can stop me from copping and do my riding. Trying so bad, she spoiled, she riding, she stepping.